G'day, how you doing? Hopefully coming through loud and clear. Seems to be the same thing every morning. I had that one great intro that one morning, didn't I? But I seem to have forgotten about that. G'day, how you doing? Adam Williams here from Adam Williams Creative. And if this is your first time, we do this, well, quite regularly. In fact, this week we're going to do another 5 episodes. I mentioned last week that we were cutting back. A couple of things have been switched around this week. We were going to have Andrew Campbell show his incredible deep space photography, telescopic photography. I don't even know, but it looks absolutely incredible. That was supposed to be today, but he couldn't make it today, so we switched that to the free day, which was Wednesday, but the rest of the week is full anyway, so it's going to be a 5-day week. A 5-day week again, but that's okay. All good fun stuff this week. Next week we'll do probably 2 or 3 shows instead. I'm thinking it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and then we might mix in the odd random day in there as well. So if you're not a subscriber, you won't know when those random days might be popping up. Make sure you subscribe, get the notifications bell, or hit that notifications bell just next to the subscribe button, and you'll never miss a show, even when we come up on a random day, like this Wednesday, for example, which wasn't going to be a day. All this talk about donuts, it's making me hungry. It's making me hungry. Okay, couple of things. Big shout out, all the mothers, happy Mother's Day. My mum often watches this show. If you're watching, Mum, happy Mother's Day, love you. Looking forward to see you guys again once the restrictions are eased back. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Absolutely, I hope you had a great day yesterday. What else have we got? The competition. In the description below, there's a free 𝗚𝗎 competition with a great prize from 𝗚𝗎 Filters. That ends tonight at midnight. I'm going to disable that link tonight, and then I'm going to narrow down to the top 32 images that I believe are the best 32 of the bunch. And then on Friday this week, I'm going to grab a couple of those incredible photographers that have been presenting on the show, and we're going to judge the top 32 images live on the Friday show. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully that works out. Jane says, loves the picture of the Opera House. Thanks, Jane. We're going to have a play with that one today. Make sure you hit the like button. Tell YouTube that this is worth watching. It all helps to sort of keep the momentum flowing. All of those likes, all of those comments, and all of your views really, really help, as well as everyone here. You know, most of you are already subscribed as well, which is fantastic. In the description below as well are the example images to follow along today. Once you receive that email link, make sure you bookmark it, put it aside somewhere safely, because the example image link will only get sent out once, but it is the link that we use every single time. It never changes. You'll see there's another new folder in there today, which is Make It Rain or something like that. Open that up, you'll see these 2 images here, or we'll get to that in a minute. I'll switch screens in a minute. I think that's it. I think that's it. Great to have you all here again this morning. Looks like we've got a bit of a quiet one. How many people do we have? Let me have a quick squiz. Wasn't all that many, was it? No, only 85. That's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. That's all the diehards. All the diehards here on a Monday morning. Absolutely. Do I have a schedule, Steph? I will have a schedule once we cut back to a couple of days a week. At the moment, I'm really struggling just to keep up with producing the show, let alone all the back-end stuff that needs to be done, like optimizing the YouTube videos and producing schedules and this, that, and the other. So I hope to have a schedule, you know, 2 or 3 weeks in advance at some stage, but at this stage I don't have that. Coming up this week though, we do have Andrew Campbell, Deep Space Photography on Wednesday, and we have an incredible photographer. Pamela Pauline is going to come and share with us her incredible, I'm going to call it Australiana series, where she takes these incredibly beautiful Australian iconic flora and fauna and brings them together into these absolutely spectacular illustrative pieces. You're going to love both of those. 2 of my favorite photographers I'm really looking forward to Wednesday, Thursday, and of course the competition final on Friday, and tomorrow, of course, Steve Arnold. If you don't know Steve Arnold, an incredible photographer, incredible Photoshop trainer as well, Photoshop teacher. He's coming on to tell us all about how great luminosity masking is. Prove me wrong. Tell us all why we need luminosity masking, and how it's going to improve our images. I'm looking forward to that too. Okay. Okay, let's do it. I should switch cameras before I forget. Let's try and have a perfect show where here I am. I'm back over here where I don't mess anything up. Hello, same camera, different angle. We got the Photoshop here. We got the Opera House photo. I've had a bit of a play with this Opera House photo. This is the one, in fact, when I did the rain technique, just messing about this morning, it didn't work that well, to be honest, but we're going to play around, modify it around, and see how we go. Steph, yeah, you can put that in your diary. Yeah, I'll absolutely. That's one of the things that I'm going to look into. Obviously, once I get it back to 2 days a week, I can really focus on all of those little things that I don't have time to do at the moment, like scheduling and lining people up and all of those different things, which will be great. Okay, Opera House photo. Now, in actual fact, you might notice that this has been a bit messed with, this Opera House photo. And this is the raw file. Let me show you the raw file here. That's the raw file there. Okay, it's middle of the day. Happy snap, just a tourist shot as you go past the Opera House. Not much doing there, but I thought I would do that and then have a play around. And in actual fact, if you want to produce or learn how to produce this particular mirror flip image, then it is part of the bonus section inside the Ultimate Bundle, okay, at 𝗟𝗵𝗂𝗍𝗶𝗺𝗏.com.au. Who saw that error in my advert this morning, hey? You probably know me by now. English isn't my strongest suit, and there was well, not a spelling error, but I suppose a grammar error. I don't know. I had too many words in there, didn't I, in that promo slide? I'll have to fix that up. That's why I turned it off halfway, because I thought I'd proofread it once it was already live, of course, and it was pretty ordinary. But anyway, within the Ultimate Bundle, we learn how to do this mirror flip. And if you're interested in upgrading to the Ultimate Bundle, maybe you've already signed up for the beginner Photoshop course, which is down below. If you've already done that and you're looking to move on to the intermediate and advanced levels, send me an email to adam@easywayphotography.com and I can set you up a 50% discount. There's been quite a few people taking that up. It won't last forever. I'll probably run that for another, well, let's say to probably the end of the week, and then we'll see how we go with that. But there's lots of good stuff in there, including this mirror flip tutorial. Shaving, what's shaving, Jim Merchant? Good to have you here, Jim. I don't see you here a lot on the live feed. Great to have you here, mate. I hope you're doing well. Okay. So yeah, if you want to learn that particular technique, turning this image, ordinary old Opera House, into this really beautiful sort of butterfly technique. I call the image metamorphosis. Then that's in there, and you'll learn how to do that technique, as well as converting to the black and white and making it really pop. Love Mondays now. Oh, great. I love Mondays. In fact, most of my days are exactly the same. I do most of the same things day in, day out, to be honest. I was working on a new image. I've been inspired by this, and I know a lot of you guys have been creatively inspired to try different things and get into Photoshop and take more photos and work on all those photos. And to be honest, I haven't taken any photos to speak of in the last probably 6-9 months. Just haven't really been feeling it. But all this Photoshop and talk of photography and inspirational photographers coming on. I went out on the weekend, Sunday, yesterday? No, it was Saturday, and I took a new photo, and I'll show you that. I might show you it today at the end. We'll see. It's coming along quite nicely. It's coming along quite nicely. All right, let's add some stars. As I said, if you want to follow along, there's a link in the description to grab these images. Good morning, Kerry. A late good morning. That's okay. That's okay. We haven't even started yet. You know me too well. You know that I ramble on for the first 20 minutes, and you may as well not join till, what is it, 20 past 10. Okay. Now, what we're going to try and do is use this astro image to create a rain effect. And look, to be honest, let me just jump on Google for a second. Is it going to let me? Oh, hello, Thrive cart. That's not what I wanted. This one. This one. Hopefully Google behaves itself. And the dark black window of the bus while the snow was coming down. And I thought, this is interesting. What's he doing that I don't know about? So I said, Luke, what are you up to, mate? This is a bit unusual, photographing the window. And he said, well, as the snow's falling in between the camera and the window, I can use the black window as sort of a, a green screen or a back screen for the snow. So all you get is these beautiful snow particles against a black backdrop. And then once we get it into Photoshop, we can use different blend modes to remove the black backdrop and just leave the snow. So then you can put snow in any image that you like, okay? As long as there's a nice, clean, black, grey background that the snow can sort of sit against. And the same thing will happen with rain. If you can capture rain against a deep, dark, grey sky, or against a black wall, or even against a, a big black rear window of a car or something like that, something that's clear and clean behind, you'll be able to blend it in and get a really natural, really natural rain effect. This isn't even natural rain, I don't think. I think this is an art installation myself. But, you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay, let's go back. Where are we? Oh, what am I doing? I want to get rid of that. Oh, hello. We're back, we're back, we're back. Okay. Feel free to ask questions as we go, but what we're going to do is copy this image over, Command or Control A. Nope, click on Photoshop. That was all those comments. Command or Control A. We're having some technical issues. In fact, who else is having sort of one of those technical issue weeks? I've had about 5 days of just technical issues. Different things dropped and broke my phone yesterday or the day before, and things have been breaking, things have been not working, freezing up. It's generally my fault, to be honest, but it's just been one of those times where it's just been one after the other. I'm sure you know what I mean. We go through those periods, don't we? Command or Control A, Command or Control C to copy. We click back to this Opera House one. In fact, I'll close the other one down just to give me some space. Ensure Photoshop doesn't freeze up. Command or Control A. Oh, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Just refresh those comments so I can see you guys talking. Here we go again. As I was just telling you about those technical freeze-ups, I noticed that the comments weren't refreshing and coming through either. Yes, we do. Oh, hit the refresh button. If your stream's not coming through clear, yeah, hit the refresh button, or the stream is absolutely pouring out this end, coming out really, really clear. As I said, technical issues. There's something in the air at the moment that's kind of freaking out all technology, I think, and freaking me out. Hello, Anne. Good to have. Oh, 2 Anns, Anne Moore and Anne 𝗟𝗵𝗄𝗯, both there, getting there together early. Okay. Hopefully it's all working. Hopefully, hit the refresh button if it's not. Okay. We're going to do some Astro. Command or Control V. Here we go. Okay. What's going on here? There it is. Yours will be a little bit similar sized. If your image doesn't fit, like mine doesn't fit here, over whatever you're trying to create rain on, just press Command or Control T for free transform and give it a good stretch. Just make that a bit smaller. And in actual fact, this can look a bit funky. The Milky Way core can look a bit funky when we're creating rain. And the reason we use Milky Way is because we're going to blur the stars into the rain. And because we're using a photo to make the rain, it's also classified as photographic in nature, and we can use it in photo competitions, which is really good. Okay, so we're not going to probably use the Milky Way. We're just going to use this bottom right corner. So again, I'll press Command or Control T. I'll just stretch that out like so. That should be okay, I'm hoping. Click OK. Now, I might change this to black and white too, actually, because the blues in the sky here are probably going to mess with the colors of the image. All going well here now. Hit the refresh. Something happened. I don't know. As I said, technology is playing up today for me and for you guys too, but it could have been my issue on some level. I'm not sure. All right. Let's change it to black and white. So with that layer there selected, layer 1, we move up to the image menu, and we're just going to purely change the layer to black and white. We're not going to worry about a layer or anything like that. Click black and white there, and then click OK. Beautiful. Okay. Now, if we change the blend mode of this layer from normal to maybe, I mean, you can mess with all different, look, you know, color dodge just lets through a few pinholes. That could work. Linear dodge is pretty nice. Graham, can I quickly run through? We might do that another day, Graham. How to transform aerials, although it's in the course. It's in the course. It's in, I'm pretty sure you've got the ultimate bundle, Graham, and you'll find free transform to create straight edges. Essentially you just grab and stretch the corners. And if, you know, stretch the two top corners and it will lay the image down. It's as simple as that. You'll find that in the course under free transform. I'm not sure if it's in the intermediate or advanced, one of those ones. Okay, so you can see, depending which one we choose, different amounts of dots are coming through. All right, so screen's not bad. In the tutorial, I've got this as a tutorial at the Bohemian Creative, and we do it a little bit differently, but it doesn't mean that that tutorial is the way to do it every time, and you might get frustrated sometimes like I did this morning with this image. It wasn't really working. So I'm just looking for a particular style of blend mode here. You know, lighten on this image. Lighten looks like it's going to work really well. Probably not lighten though, actually. If we go on lighten, if I click lighten, for example, you'll see where the areas get really light, there's no rain, so that won't really work. Screen's pretty nice. Let's try screen. Let's try screen this time around. Just mess around with the different blend modes. If it's not working the way that I teach, then have a play around. See if you can solve the problem. There's always a way in Photoshop to solve that problem. And in fact, Photoshop is just an essential problem-solving technique. If you've got the vision of what you want to create or the idea of what you want to create, then it's just a matter of just playing with different filters and blend modes and whatnot until it works. Okay, let's blur the stars so they look like rain. If we go up to the filter menu and we click, first of all, click Convert for Smart Filters. This will give us a little bit more flexibility. When we add the blur, we can adjust the blur, which you can't normally do unless you do Convert for Smart Filters. Oh, it's taking forever because I'm working on a big high-res image. Give it a second. I'll just have a sip of tea. Hopefully you got a nice hot coffee, tea, and a donut. You get your donuts, Tom? Tom's gallery is now open in the Mornington Peninsula. Look him up at 𝗃𝗵𝗃.com. See where the address is. Drop down, take him a donut, hot cup of coffee. There we go. Finally, we finally got that to work. Yours will be a lot quicker because you've only got a smaller resolution image. I'm working on the full res image here. Okay, back up to filter menu, blur, motion blur. Again, just thinking about it. I should downsize. Oh, look at that already. That's looking pretty nice. I think I want the rain a little bit longer though. So here's the angle. What angle is the rain going to come down on? You know, and we talk about horizontal rain. You know, most of the time that's probably going to look a little unrealistic, but you know, whatever, it's fine. You can go with that. I'm generally going to keep it, you know, roughly at an angle like that, just slightly off vertical. I think I need to replace this thumbnail with the old thumbnail that I kind of messed around with. Donuts, nom nom. What's the street address of your gallery there, Tom? If anyone's coming past, we'll see if we can't get you a donut this morning, mate. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Okay, we need to sort of find that balance, don't we, between, that's probably not the look I'm going for, those really long streaky lines. And then if we don't give it enough, it kind of looks a bit weird too, doesn't it? So something like, where is it? And it might be different on your low res image too, so just mess around a little bit. you know, for this one, 688. 688. The challenge, get 𝗃𝗵𝗃 donut this morning. Maybe someone could ring up the donut shop down the road and see if they can drop one on his doorstep. All right, so you can see what's happening here is the blend mode is also lightening up the image. Well, we could just eventually just darken down and kind of get back to where we were before, okay? We won't do that just yet though. I'll delete that layer away because maybe we want to add another different rain technique, or maybe we could even add rain with a different blend mode, which would bring some more rain in and also darken down the image at the same time. Who knows? We're just having a play here. As I said, it's completely different technique to the technique that I teach within the Bohemian Creative. Okay, and if you're interested in moving along to the more creative Photoshop techniques that we teach in the Bohemian Creative, and more art philosophy in there as well, about creating depth and story and all these different things, once again, just send me an email and I'll sort you out a deal to step across or step up to that level as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate this rain layer. In fact, layer 1, I'll double click where it says layer 1. Let's do that. We'll just call it rain. Rain, eh? And still in your pajamas. Well, I'm half in my pajamas. I got my nice warm 𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗃 on. 𝗃𝗃𝗃. If you're not from Australia, you probably don't know what 𝗃𝗃𝗃 are. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 are sweatpants. I got my sweatpants on. Because it's cold. It's cold in my little office. I'm just in a double garage surrounded by concrete essentially. And it's starting to get a little bit chilly. A little bit chilly. I mean, not chilly by, you know, Antarctic standards, but chilly by my standards. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this particular layer, Command or Control J. Had to quickly gauge where I was up to then, didn't I? And let's just mess with the blend modes and see what happens. Or in actual fact, before we do that, Command or Control T. Command or Control T for free transform, and just stretch one of those corners just to offset. In fact, we could even sort of come down and use the other corner like that, so it's completely different. Although there's some big ugly stars in this section, isn't there? We won't use that one. Avoid those big ugly stars, and in fact sometimes I clone stamp them out before I do this. As long as it's different, you know, that should be okay like that. And you'll see that now that we click, thank you very much, click the OK button, it will re-blur. That's the free transform. It unblurs whilst we're moving around with the free transform, and then re-blurs when we hit that button. Tom's got his coffee order in. How are we going all right here, Tom? Hey? Hey? Don't say I can't make things happen, Tom. Not really. I'm not making anything happen, am I? I was just having a bit of fun. All right. So now we've got two rain layers, one over the top of the other. And what we're going to do to the second one is we are going to shorten up the length of the rain, if you like, the raindrops, and we'll change the angle a little bit to try and make them, you know, a little bit more realistic. As I said, if you really want realistic rain, wait for it to absolutely be coming down, cats and dogs pouring down. Go out and shoot against a white wall or in fact, a white wall is probably not going to work that well, is it? Probably have to shoot against something dark, you know, a dark black sky. You know, you might have to shoot up a little bit so you don't have trees and stuff. And then all you do is bring that rain layer into Photoshop and play with the blend modes till you find something that works. Okay. Speaking of which, let's play with these blend modes now. Is that going to work? Overlay, maybe. Well, let's see. Let's see. I'm not sure if we've lost the rain from the second layer altogether, but let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What we need to do is now we'll change the angle. In fact, let's leave it for now. Let's leave it on screen and change the angle first, and then we'll play with the blend modes. Okay, so come over to we've got the layer rain copy. If we come over there, and you'll see, because we've got a smart filter, it now has motion blur there. Double click where it says motion blur. Oh, that's a good tip, Mike. Yeah, use flash to capture rain. Yeah, because it will really light it up. although be worth playing with. I know flash is going to freeze the droplets, so you won't get those streaks, but maybe you could do a combination of, you know, have a curtain flash right at the back, so it sort of blurs, and then with a droplet at the bottom. That could be a really cool effect. So if you did like a, you know, a relatively short exposure, I don't know, like a 1/30th of a second with the flash firing at the end, then you might get a little streak with a solid drop at the bottom, which could be interesting. But yeah, have a play, see what works, see what doesn't work. Understanding what doesn't work is just as important in this sort of exploration of what we're doing. Okay, so first of all, we'll change the angle of this second layer. Beautiful, look at this. And we might need to free transform this a little bit as well. And distance, let's change the distance. And we probably need to lower the opacity, but let's see. That looks pretty nice. Maybe we'll just get that one closer to vertical. Yeah, okay, okay. Shoot against the light. Okay, maybe. Then the rain would the rain be dark or light? Shoot against the light, yeah, but yeah, try it all. Shoot against the dark, shoot against the light, use a flash, use a torch, all of that stuff. Give it a shot. Obviously, protect your camera if you're out in the rain. I love shooting in the rain. My Nikon's pretty good in the rain. It is weather sealed, and it's really old, and so I don't really look after it that much anymore. And I do happen to have a backup one as well, so I probably don't look after it as much as I should, but get out into some pretty unique situations. Click OK there, once you're happy with where that rain direction is going and the length of the raindrop. And then let's play with the blend modes. I do like it, and we could just darken down, but let's play with the blend modes and see what happens. And I'm thinking like, not color burn. What's multiply do? Nah, that looks horrible. Darken, just rain, no. No. Lighter, yeah, it's not too bad. Yep, yep, okay, what about overlay? Now in this case, soft light's working really, really well, isn't it? And I don't think we need to do much more. It's just a case of just playing around like that. There's a dark edge here, isn't there? What's that being caused by? It's mainly this layer. So we could add a layer mask here, B for brush, and just switch to a black brush there. I'll just zoom back a little bit, and we could just paint. Oh, that looks terrible, doesn't it? I am 0% hardness. All right, forget that. Forget what I just did there. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, what we'll do, we'll add a curves layer instead, and we'll brighten up. And then we'll probably end up darkening back a little bit. Command or Control I to invert. This time with a white brush, 20%. Getting a lot of banding, aren't I? Oh, you know what? No, it shouldn't be. I was thinking it's because of the blend modes, but it's just my terrible brush work, I think. I might lower that opacity. It's coming on really strong. That's a bit better. And we might just darken down, add a little vignette to bring the image kind of back to where it was previously. Curves. See, I need to be careful because it is darkening the raindrops too, isn't it? Gone. The raindrops are gone altogether. In which case, see if we can grab the little hand here. So that's where that sky is, and I kind of want to... Okay. Again, forget about that. Problem solving 101 here. We're going to delete that layer. Let's see if I can come back underneath the rain and darken the image from underneath the rain to try and hold the rain where it is. Let's see if that will work. Curves. So I've come right back down to the background layer there, then add the curves layer, okay? All right, that lightness is coming from one of these layers. So it's a problem, it's a case of just solving the problem. It's coming from this layer here. It's coming from that layer there. So, okay, in that case, we'll click on that layer and we'll add a curves layer. Getting a bit technical here, and we'll clip it to the curves layer. I clip the curves layer down with this little icon. That produces that little clip down icon. All I'm trying to do is darken that section without removing the rain altogether. Chop the bottom off. Yeah, that's the last resort, absolutely. Chop the bottom off. I mean, as a compositional element, you might like to have 1/3 foreground and 2/3 sky. With this particular image, I think we probably got too much around there anyway, and I would probably crop in. We might do that right at the end, but let's see if I can solve this problem first. Yes, I can. We finally got there. You can see the rain is still visible, and I've managed to darken down that particular layer. Command or Control Invert, B for brush, white brush. I just want to darken that patch there. Okay, we could add another one if we wanted to, curves. Clip it down again so it's only affecting that one layer. Command or Control Invert. Copying the other side wouldn't really work, William, unfortunately. Yeah, that is a solution that I often use, but what you'll end up getting is the same rain texture from there over there, and it will probably stand out. It would probably stand out. But good thinking. That often does work, and it's often my default go-to when I have an ugly part of the image. Say I've got a hole in the sky here, which is, you know, bright sunlight coming through and it's very distracting, then I would get the dark clouds from here and bring them over here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think overall, I'm not sure what it looks like on my website, but I think overall, a square crop is what I like, with the Opera House in the middle. So we just did all that work, but I would probably, look, to be honest, the original doesn't have rain in it, my finished image. I think probably to really show off. Now again, yeah, again, Gregory, the graduated filter, well, it would work, but not with the curve, because darkening with the curve was removing the rain altogether. So a graduated filter would work, as well as the brush would work, but it wouldn't solve the problem that I was having. Phoenix, good to have you here. I haven't seen you here before, Phoenix. If you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We're doing this 5 days a week this week. Next week we're going to switch back to Tuesday, Thursdays. But hit the subscribe button if you're new today, and be sure to join us for the live shows. The live shows. We've got a huge week this week. Yes, Doug. Sometimes making the rain image higher in contrast absolutely does help. Absolutely. Let's zoom back out there. We'll do that individually. So we'll add a curve to this one and see what happens. Clip it down, and in actual fact, Doug, you might have seen in the Bohemian Creative, we do that. We mess with the contrast of the rain layer to make it more prominent. I don't think I would want the rain more prominent, which is what's going to happen here. Because you kind of, when you do these things, you kind of want it relatively subtle to a certain degree, and I think that's probably about how I would like to see it in general. But you'll see, well, we should see, hopefully, I've added a curves layer, clipped it down to the rain copy, and if you're kind of going, whoa, what's going on? Yes, this is a bit of an advanced tutorial this morning, it's turned out to be in any case, with clipping layers and this, that, and the other, and putting in layers down below when most of the time we work from the top. Again though, all of these techniques are explained throughout the courses, the Photoshop courses at easywayphotography.com.au. Okay, so in the description below is my beginner course, which is now pay whatever you like. So you can sign up to that for a small donation if you like, or if you're doing it tough, then type in 0 and you can have the course for free as a gift. But if you've already done that and you want to keep learning about, different layers and clipping masks and how it all works, then move up to the intermediate and advanced courses as well. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, see, basically, adding contrast is going to add contrast into that particular image. If I turn that on and off, you can see the rain becomes potentially much more prominent, particularly up here in the top of the image. It's also getting rather bright down there, and we would need to go back and then feather that back out. We could also mess around. What happens if we bring that up? This is more along the lines of what we do in the Bohemian Creative. And maybe, yeah, absolutely. Mess around with it, have a play. See if you can get a better result than I'm getting. Yeah, you can literally hear my brain ticking this morning, Mike, can't you? It feels like that. It feels like that. It's a bit of a battle, a bit of a struggle, but I'm having fun. We're just here to have some fun. Anyway, that's all kind of working. I quite like that effect though. It's a little bit subtle. You could probably even, I don't know, if we go, well, I won't go back to Google because that seemed to mess everything up before, didn't it? I messed it all up. But let me open up. We'll leave that there for this particular rain tutorial, but grab one of your own images, a dark, gloomy, rainy looking image anyway. You can use my Astro image to create some rain if you don't have your own, and have a play around. Play with the blend modes, play with the length of the rain, play with the opacity, play with different clipping layers and mess around with the contrast and just have fun. Just see what works, see what doesn't work. There's no right or wrong with these things, and trust me, there's always a solution in Photoshop. You might not be aware of it, but just playing around and messing around with blend modes and different layers and this and that, and you'll eventually figure it out. Let me show you the image I've been working on, if you don't mind. Where am I keeping it? I think it's on, is it on here? 1 second, let me find this. Oh, I know where I'll find it. Well, Photoshop and my whole computer is threatening to just go on strike, I think. Oh, here it is anyway. It's a big file. This could shut down the whole system. It's like 10 gigabytes. So I might have to have a cup of tea while we just wait for this to open. How was your weekend? You have a good weekend? I hope you did. Such fun to create in PS. Yeah, keep in mind, I think I would prefer, next time it's pouring with rain, I'll be out there shooting rain texture, and I'll maybe make a new video using real rain texture and just messing around with blend modes to get that to sit into an image. Okay, you can see this one opening up. It's taking all day. It's an enormous file, but what I've been inspired to do, I'm still working on and finishing off my Shadow series, which is the very dark, gloomy series. But I've been inspired to, begin to create a new series of romantic, dramatic photographs inspired by the romantic landscape painters of the 1850s. And if I can get in there and show you, that's exactly what we'll do. But it might take a while. I wanted to show you the raw file. 10 gig, yeah, it's a beast. It's an absolute beast, guys. It'll be worth the wait. It'll be another 10 or 20 seconds, I think. Usually it gets to about 2/3 and goes zoop. Yeah, absolutely, freelancer. Yeah, PS Photoshop is a world of discovery. Often if I've just got free time on my hands, I'll open up an image and go into the filters, an oil painting filter, blur filter, mess around with that, play with clarity, play with sharpening, play with all sorts of different things, play with different curves and, tweak around and do strange things on the curves and see what happens. And absolutely, if you've got time, get in there, have a play and learn about Photoshop. You'll learn a lot by trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve, whether it be adding rain or adding snow or whatever. You'll see there's ways to do that. Sometimes just lower the opacity, sometimes play with blend modes. Oh, Tom Putt and Jane have conspired and sent me a present, and I'll show you that present. It was a bit cold That's a bit of a hint. Bit cold to wear it this morning, but I've got a beautiful new shirt, which I'll be debuting this week sometime. Just waiting for a bit of a warmer morning. It's beautiful. It's really skin tight. Yeah, I couldn't wear it this morning because, well, it's cold. My nipples will be showing through. Here we go. What do you think of that one, guys? What do you think of that? It's only a draft. Go easy. Go easy. This is a beautiful place. And the reason, I mean, I live in one of the most spectacular, absolutely spectacular coastal locations in Australia, Crescent Head. And this is a seascape location at Crescent Head. It's called Sunset Beach. There's this big split gorge running through one of the headlands. This is it here. Absolutely spectacular, just suits the romantic style. And as I said, I wanted to create, the romantic style for me is about the balance between, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, that's why I sent it, because let's not even go there, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. But yeah, it would have been an interesting look this morning, high beaming out there to everyone. It's quite skin tight too, yeah, holiday shirt, skin tight, beautiful. We'll tune in for that and you'll see it in the next couple of days. Maybe I'll wear it on the final. So romantic stylings for me are about dramatic landscapes, number one, dramatic landscapes and seascapes, which Crescent Head has a lot of. And then number two, it's like the battle between the good and the bad, light and dark, okay? So you want these dark elements and light elements. Usually the dark are in the foreground and the light is drawing you into the background. The colour palette looks like the 1800s. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go with, sort of that sort of style in my own sort of way. You might notice there's a little bit of purplish in the shadows, which is something I like to do. There's hints of green in there as well. I'm trying to create my own style in a certain sense with those beautiful warm tones and the clouds. Yeah, and it's more uplifting than what a lot of my work that I've been doing recently. And that's what I'm feeling like I want to produce now, is some really uplifting, inspiring, awe-inspiring, dramatic landscapes. Who wants to see the raw file? Yeah, who wants to see the raw? Should I show you the raw file? I'm not sure. Maybe I should keep it mysterious. Like, you know, I'm not a rubbish photographer that's really good at Photoshop. Hey? Yeah, Ness. Crescent Head is spectacular. This is a little hidden gem. Not many people know about this, so you better send me a message and I'll tell you where it is. Is it a knobby? No, it's not a knobby. It's near Delicate Knobby. The funny thing about Crescent Head is all the headlands are called knobbies. We've got Little Knobby, Big Knobby, Delicate Knobby. No, Tom, don't go there. Delicate Knobby and hard nipples. We're leading astray this morning, aren't we? Show us the raw file, Ness says. Yeah, show us. Look at this. I've been holding you in suspense. Show the raw file. Show. Yeah, show. Okay. I don't know whether I should. I feel like I need to keep it as a mystery, because as soon as I show you, you'll be like, well, that image kind of sucks. Okay. But I guess this is the kind of thing that you can create in Photoshop, can't you? So this is a great advertisement of why you need to learn Photoshop, because you can go out in the middle of the day when it's a bit middle of the day, slightly overcast. It was overcast on Saturday and I went, right, time to start creating this series. And I'm not sure I'll be showing all of the raw files, but I'll show you this one anyway. Yeah, there's a little figure in there as well, adding scale. And when I was there the day before, there was actually a person standing here on the other side. And so I got my iPhone out and I captured that shot, not necessarily to use in a photograph, but just so I knew what scale a person would be if they were standing on this headland. So that is actually the iPhone person that I've dropped in there, but I need to recapture another person in higher resolution. And that could just be me standing on a chair in the backyard, to be honest, and then I'll cut it out and put it into the same scale, Proud to be a knobhead. Simon, are you a Crescent Head local, Simon? I'm not sure, or just a knobhead like myself. Stop tormenting us. I'm really drawing out the suspense, aren't I? Hat Head, Hat Head, Crescent Head, Southwest Rocks, all amazing hidden gems. I think Crescent Head is the best of it, to be honest, and I'm a little bit biased maybe, but we have the incredible Sea Cave, we have Big Knobby, Little Knobby, Delicate Knobby, Sunset Gorge, and heaps of compositions and variations on all of those images. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you're not going to be disappointed. I'm sure you won't. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's all interesting. You ready? Here is the raw file. Da, da, da. It kind of sucks, doesn't it? It's all about composition though. It's all just a knobhead, says Simon, a proud knobhead. It's gone a bit astray this morning, hasn't it? It really has. Anyway, sorry guys. It's all right. It's all right. Sunny says, hope to get there in August. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. So the point being is, what I wanted was, this is a spectacular location, no doubt about it. And you can see it was a cloudy day. And so I wanted the clouds, because what happens in the clouds is you don't get harsh light and harsh shadows. So you can see the sun was up here. If the light was harsh, I would have these really harsh lines of shadows running down this edge. I didn't want that. And I don't have any harsh light anywhere because I wanted to paint the light in. Okay, so it's all about composition. And what was my thoughts within this composition? Well, I've tried to shoot this location several times before, and it's never looked spectacular and dramatic, because what I'd been doing previously was walking way too far into the gorge and shooting it rather wide, but I wasn't getting the tops of the hills, so I wasn't getting that really deep pull, that depth. Tom, no, I wasn't getting that depth, that draw into the scene that I think this composition gives me by, really starting back further and allowing yourself to be really drawn into that scene, and then having the person standing on the cliff really creates that sense of drama. So I've captured these two cliffs, and I just did it handheld panoramic, click, 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 click. I wasn't too concerned about the water because I knew I was going to set the camera up on a tripod, and so I captured the panoramic in vertical portrait mode, click, 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 stitch that together back in Photoshop, and then I put my camera on a tripod in landscape mode, and I shot the long exposure. I stood there for probably an hour taking hundreds of long exposures of different lengths to get, you'll see the foreground now. Okay, look at this beautiful foreground. I probably shot 100 photos and I got that one. Only one that looked anything like that. That one particular wave movement as it came up, couple of seconds, and then we blend that in. It's all the same rocks. It's really quite easy to blend that in. Bring the pieces together. And what I'm thinking about is, what if I was to spend the next 12 to 18 months creating 10 only romantic, dramatic crescent head images as a new series? Then if I could really invest all my time and creative energy, or my spare time that I have and creative energy, into this series, what are the possibilities? What are they going to look like? And I think this is a proof of concept that says it's probably worthwhile in investing that time, because I'm really enjoying this. It's not finished, it's just a draft. I probably shouldn't have shown you because it's probably 90% there, 95%. It still needs to be worked on. But if I really invest all my time and energy into figuring out the most dramatic composition, which is, in my opinion, was this, okay? And then getting the most dramatic foreground to go with that, the wave. I'm going to have some big sort of waves, romantic waves crashing into rocks on different images and this and that. In this case, I wanted the water to be drawing us right back into the central, most dramatic section of this scene. I then wanted to place the human element to add a sense of scale and also a sense of insignificance. And you'll probably see this run throughout the entire series. There will be a small human adding scale in every single image, kind of tying the images back together and adding that sense of insignificance, that nature is almighty and powerful and awe-inspiring and all of these kind of things. That's the kind of feeling. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And 𝗟𝗵𝗃 seascape. Wow, what an incredible compliment that is. If to be even considering that is 𝗟𝗵𝗃-esque is absolutely phenomenal. And you know what? I'm combining all the skills that I've learned over the last 10 years and all the different photographic series that I've created. And this can culminate, what if all of us as photographers in the next 12 to 18 months, invested our energy in, creating 10, 20, 30 of the absolute best photos we can capture. The absolute best we can capture based on the level where we're at right now. And for me, that's what I'm going to do. Will I create a tutorial for each of the 10, Leonie? No, I probably won't, to be honest, because sometimes as an artist there needs to be a sense of mystery, and in actual fact I'll probably even go and delete the evidence that I showed you this raw file at a later date, because I think there needs to be that sense of romance and reality, and I don't want to take away from the finished product by creating tutorials for this particular series. Look, I might, but at this stage, at least until I've created the series and have more of an understanding of what it means to me. When I first start working on a particular body of work, it generally doesn't have all that much emotional significance, but it tends to build up over time invested and time standing in the landscape and time contemplating what I'm trying to achieve, and the emotional content starts to build. So this image might change over time. There might be another version that locks it closer into some of the other work as well. Yeah, Pamela, yeah, absolutely. Having that one person to show, man's, our individual insignificance to these grander schemes and grander scales. And, there's kind of I'm not a religious person, but there is those kind of elements that nature is very powerful and mighty, and I want to show the grand scale and the scope and the power and the beauty of nature in this particular series. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, I'd love to put it together into a series, 𝗂𝗏, absolutely. And look, to be honest, 𝗂𝗏, your incredible work is some of the inspiration behind really slowing down and really taking the time to get the composition that I'm looking for, and then to get the foreground that I need to suit that composition absolutely perfectly, and then to get the perfect sky to suit the drama and suit the light. And you can see I've placed this sky because, and if we have a look at the sky, where is the sky? Here it is. There's the sky. And when I saw that raw file, I thought, well, I can create this. This is a hole where the light can be streaming through. The light is coming through there, but we can create that. Will the exhibition be at Crescent Head? I don't even know if there will be an exhibition, but it might be at Crescent Head. It might be in Sydney. It could be anywhere. I'm not sure. But as you can see, really slowing down. If we really slow down and get that perfect composition, and sometimes you've got to take 10 different compositions and compare them and see which one speaks to you the most loudly, and then understand. So I stood there a couple of days ago without my camera, and I was, composition out here, that's what I think will work really, really well. And then the sky's going to be like this and gnarly and overcast, and there'll be light streaming down through here, and it will be splashing across, lighting up this side of the gorge. This side will be in shadow. A little person, originally the little person was going to be on the light side. I've switched them over to the dark side. I feel like they work better there on the high side. And then I was talking to myself saying, and a nice foreground sort of dragging me into the scene. Really slow down and understand what are the elements that you need to really create the most incredible image to suit that vision. And that's what we're doing. And I think there's enough encouragement through this image to try another one and keep going. Okay. All right. Wasn't the longest show today, and we got a bit bumbly and whatnot and this and that, but it's not always perfect, is it? And if you look through my layers here, let me just extend the layers up just to give you an example. Okay. Look, it's probably 100. Now I could probably recreate this look again with maybe a third of those layers. But I'm just twisting, turning, little tweak, color change, this, that, getting the mist to build up, getting the blue in the water here, getting the right color that I want in the sky, getting the right color in the shadows. I had green shadows and then I switched them to purplish shadows, and all those little tweaks. There's still a few more tweaks to go, but it's always a step. It's a couple of steps forward, one step back, couple of steps forward, one step back, and eventually you get there. Let's have one more look before I go and remove all evidence that I ever showed you this particular file, okay? You take better photos than that every single day, I'm sure of it, okay? But I suppose one of the main differences, or one of the things that allows me to create that is having an understanding and being inspired by the likes of Albert Bierstadt and the Romantic painters, and being inspired by Sue Ellen's incredible illustrative work as well, and then wanting to create something with, you know, that sort of feel of those romantic painters and have all these perfect elements all coming together in the one perfect photo, or in this case, maybe a dozen perfect photos. They won't be perfect in a sense, but just, you know what I mean. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for that. Thanks for joining me. Tomorrow, luminosity masking with Steve Arnold. And in fact, I need to message him on Facebook and confirm that that is happening. If it's not, something else will be happening anyway. Wednesday, deep space photography with Andrew Campbell. Do not miss that one. It's going to be phenomenal. Telescopes and all fun different gear, this, that, and the other. Thursday, we have Pamela Pauline. Look up Pamela Pauline on Google and you'll see what I mean. She's presenting on her Australiana fauna and flora illustrative work. It's spectacular. You're going to love it. And then Friday, we're going to do the live judging of the final of the photo competition. If you haven't entered the photo competition, have a look in the description below. Jump in and join that. Thanks for joining me. Tom Putt, I hope you got your donut. Tom and Jane, thanks for the t-shirt. We'll get that on this week when it's a little, I might have to bring the heater in just to warm me up a bit to get that gorgeous skin tight. Show off my physique, yeah? All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe and stay well, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye for now.